Sup, Devils? Straight out back to answer some more questions. And the goddamn questions we're going over today is we're going to be finishing up on the video that we left off on yesterday. after showing my LPs, telling show stories, and laughing at fucking Mr. Destructor, who wasn't destructive the least fucking bit, only got the one goddamn question. So, I wanted to get the least few others. And it's the video for a reminder for the motherfuckers that missed yesterday's video, or maybe you forgot, poor memory, whatever the fucking case it is. This is the video posted, November 18th, so what's that, 3 weeks ago or so? Immolation Cannibal Corpse prefer their metal a little more sloppy, but yet they don't want to play. That video. Yeah, posted 3 weeks ago, so okay. With 160 comments, and then I just went to the next goddamn question marks in line from where we left off. And the next guy here, Rory McCann. J-Dog don't listen to the Bone Thugs all the way from the land. That's funny as fuck. Bone Thugs, I didn't even know they were from the goddamn land. That is actually pretty goddamn funny because I know who the fuck Bone Thugs is. Well, I mean, at least know the name. If I walked in a room and somebody was playing it, would I be aware that it was them? No. But, yeah, I've seen the name growing up and shit like that. So, no, I did not know that. And he says, Gorguts smokes so many bands. Come on, dog. Get one reply to that. Nothing relevant. See, I kind of disagree. Who does Gorguts smoke? Like I said, I like Consider Dead. Erosion of Sanity was a little too technical for me, and after that, I didn't like anything at all. But even Consider Dead, let's just go with that. Who does it at that era? Who does it smoke? I'll tell you who I think it don't smoke, but yet it seems like is a common trend that, at least how I see sales wise. Again, I own Consider Dead. I like it. I just don't think it's smoking very many bands. But in that same time frame. And in death metal, does it smoke Malevolent Creation? I don't personally think so at all. Not even close. I think fucking Malevolent Creation sends them home on a motherfucking stretcher. Does it smoke Monstrosity? Imperial? So you telling me Consider Dead is better than Imperial Doom? I highly fucking disagree with that. So put it in there, and then you're allowed to disagree and put it in. But I mean, for me, I'm just like, it's to me, there's no contest. It's like, there's no way. And then the most terrible fucking metal album cover in death metal history, Monstrosity Millennium. So yeah, don't let the cover fool you, bras. Does Consider Dead beat that? I don't even think it comes fucking close. I think Millennium destroys it. Third album by Monstrosity. For my teenage years, I used to always kind of think that was my favorite. That was the two I saw him on too. Goddamn it, in case you happen to give a fuck. In Dark Purity, first one without Corpse Grinder, but it's still a banger. I think in Dark Purity is way better than anything Gorguts has done. Again, you're allowed to disagree. For me, I'm like, because I'll listen to Gorguts, I'll put it on, Consider Dead every time. Listen to them probably about every 3 to 4 years or so. I revisit it. You mind? 3 to 4 years? Look at all this great metal behind me. I got thousands of pieces between 7 inches. Never showed. Well, I showed you some of my 7 inch on camera. 7 inches are my closet, and the 7 inch boxes. I mean, I got between CDs, LPs, and 7 inches. I got thousands of pieces of hard format, and then I check shit out of the shop all the fucking time, and people send me demos. It's just so yeah. I mean, what the fuck? I can't listen to everything 10 times a year. It'd be physically impossible too. So yeah, especially now that I'm not the hugest fan of. So but just using those two examples, because I think, me personally, I feel Malevolent Creation and Monstrosity are highly underrated and don't quite get the respect that they deserve. I'm not going to say that like nobody cares about them and shit, because obviously, people know who they are and they're reasonably sized. But another thing about them too, I don't think either one of them has a shitty fucking record in the catalog. Full disclosure, later Monstrosity, I don't know all the later albums as well as I have them, like Spiritual Apocalypse, Rise to Power. I own them and I like them, but it's like I don't know them, and I'm not gonna say it's fucking as good as Imperial Doom, definitely not. But I mean, I'm like, oh, I thought they were good enough to buy, put it that way. And the last album by Malevolent Creation was that the 13th Beast. That's the last one I'm aware of. I thought it was good. I mean, again, is it as good as fucking the 10 Commandments or Retribution or Fine Art of Murder? No. But I thought it was a good album. There's not one album in Malevolent Creation's catalog where I'm like, this fucking sucks. Not one. So I base it off that too, goddammit. So yeah. Who is Gorguts technically smoking in the same genre around that same time frame? So let's say let's use a time frame like 1990 to like 1994. Let's use that era of albums in the death metal scene. Who are they smoking? I can't think of too many bands that they are smoking, to be honest with you. Fraser Dawson, somebody told me J Dog likes Slipknot. Is that true or not true? Laugh out loud. We heard from the horse's mouth. I said fucking not true. I'd tell you if I did. Sewer vomit. Question, J Dog. When you seen Cannibal at Dark Funeral, how many people did you see wearing corpse paint? There was literally only one guy when I seen him. It's funny because I definitely did see at least one person myself. Are you from Sewer Vomit? Were you from Cleveland? You never, if you're at the Cleveland shows, you never came up to me at least to say anything. Or if you did, you didn't tell me your ID, whatever the fuck the thing is, user ID. I definitely saw one, and maybe one or two others, but I definitely saw one other. If it was me personally, I'd kind of feel like an ass, pair of ass cheeks walking around. But I don't care. I would a million times rather see that black metal spirit wearing corpse paint than some fucking canoe and a goddamn a Browns jersey or Ohio State fucking hoodie. Some fucking bullshit that does not belong in death metal. Goddamn it. It's at least not the death metal spirit. Not to say that you can't like fucking football and shit in death metal. Obviously, that's being completely ridiculous. Of course, you can. It's just I don't know if you're going to a death metal show, fit the bill, right, Joe? It's just I don't know. Just have the goddamn death metal spirit. I don't know. To me again, yeah, it's just I get it. For example, if you're going to a football game and you want to wear your favorite your player's jersey, that makes sense. I get that. That totally makes sense. As a matter of fact, if I was into the fucking fat ball or a basketball or anything, if I was a diehard fan, knowing how I go all in on everything, or not even gonna fucking try. That's probably what I would do. I'd probably have my favorite player's sports jersey or apparel. I'd be wearing it at the game in support. You know what I mean? It's just because diehard fan. You know what I mean? That's how I roll. So I don't know. It's just a diehard death metal fan. The fucking spirit comes out of me when I just see some fucking just random stupid shit. I was kind of like, do you even like this stuff? Like, what are you doing here? I know there's gonna be motherfuckers in the comments that disagree though, and that's completely fine. But goddamn, I don't personally get it. Poser Metal Luckers, J Dog, why are you always ripping on the homeboy stuff? Because it's fucking funny, goddamn it. You know some of the devils get down with homeboy, right? They can get down whatever the fuck they want. We're on my channel, so we're talking about what J Dog's down with. So when I come to over their channels, they want to get down with the homeboys, they can get down with the homeboys. Over here, we get down with what J Dog gets down with because we're watching my shit. Makes sense, right, Papa? Life Eternal, question marks. What do you think is the number one thing that makes you dislike a record? A musical tendency? Something like that? I don't even there's no number one thing I would dislike about a record, just the tune skis. The tune skis there, the tune skis not there. Um, Especially, if I'm going to check out like a new, whatever, new just a recording I haven't heard. It doesn't even have to be a new band. It can be the new Cannibal Corpse, whatever. I put it on. If I'm just not feeling it, I'm like, yes, this is doing nothing for me. That's usually the consensus because most metal, let's call it like it is, at least the extreme metal music scene in the underground, pretty much most bands have the formula down to where it works and it's decent background at the very least. From either as decent background or up to the greatest thing in the world, right? Or somewhere in between. But there is rules when there's stuff that you put out, you're like, this fucking sucks dick. And what's the most recent thing I put on that I thought fucking sucks dick? Shut it off. I don't know if I even had anything in the last few months. I want to say there was one thing. Because when I make that, when I'm thinking that, trying to think of what I shut off, it's usually the shop, something that came in, and I put it on the player. I'm trying to think, what was the last thing that I shut off in the middle? Because I usually don't shut it off. I'll listen to the beginning then. Because again, it's usually at least mediocre background. So I'll just finish it through. Yeah, recently, I don't know if the last 2 to 3 months if I actually shut anything off. So that just goes to show my theory, at least for me. It's all mostly just mediocre. That's why some people they'll go a little too harsh on that. It's like, dude, it was horrible. Um, I kind of disagree. I'm like, yeah, it wasn't horrible. It's just I don't need it. I'm not going to buy it. It was just mediocre, whatever. Like, I don't need it. Um, I do have an example, but it's years ago that they were giving me a goddamn headache for all the devils around. The show happened about 15 years ago. The band that opened up for Portal was at No Class. Well, it was called Now That's Class at the time. The band, what was it? Panda something? Purple Panda? It was Panda something. Panda Slayer. It was something. I think it was something Panda. Whoever that band is, we had in stock. unmotherfucking listenable. That was literally giving me a goddamn headache. Couldn't tolerate. Get me a goddamn barf bag. Couldn't even do it. Even live, I'm like, oh, dude, give me that. God, I feel like I'm gonna puke up some fucking Doritos. Horrible. That's one I forget what maybe Bloody Panda, is that what it's called? Maybe whoever the fuck it was. I'm sure the guys in the Cleveland scene that were there or look at the show or whatever. I don't know if they were on tour. I'm assuming it was a full blown tour, but when Portal played here in Cleveland, that's who opened up for him. And I don't know why. Too. I think I heard them prior from it coming in the shop, so I already knew that it fucking sucked. But that completely unlistenable in my book. From what I remember, again, if they put an album out since and it's drastically different, the most amazing thing ever. But from what I remember that being some unlistenable shit. Now there's been tons of shit since then. That was quite a long time ago that I shut off. For whatever reason, that was just popping in my mind. That's an example to me. I was like, this is absolutely horrible. I can't even do it. Critical Mass, J-Dog. Would you be willing to come to more shows in Indianapolis? Probably not. The Bulldozer Deceased show going on this Sunday, 11:20. I mean, Indianapolis, I'm not sure how long of a drive would that be for me. And I'd have to put it in. Depends on the city. And, dude, the only way I'm making like a long drive, it'd have to be something I really want to see, and that it's not coming to Cleveland. So, like, for example, I went to the Merciful Fate midnight show, just as you guys know, last month or whatever it was. Yeah, about a month ago now. It's about that now. But that's because they weren't doing a Cleveland show. If they were playing Cleveland, I wouldn't have gone to the Detroit show. I would have just gone to Cleveland only. So it's got to be something like that. Now, for example, if Indianapolis was the closest town that Hemorrhage comes and they play here, yeah, I would drive to go see that. That is, especially if it was like, well, I would go to see the Hemorrhage, but if it was like Hemorrhage and Bird Flesh and shit, I would say I'm definitely going. If it was both those bands playing same nights, trying to think, would I drive to Indianapolis to go see Destroyer 666? I'd have to look at how long it is. If it was 3 hours and a Friday or Saturday night, yes. If it's Friday or Saturday night, but 6 or 7 hours, would I drive that distance to see Destroyer 666? No, not in 2020, 22, but if this was the year 2000, 2001, yes. Why that? Because there's more original members and shit, and just now it's just I mean, and actually, thought the new Destroyer 66 didn't listen to all the songs. You had a couple on YouTube, and then the 7-inch, which I liked. Just to me, I don't know. See Destroyer 666 now is KK Warslut and a couple fucking guys like, who the hell are these guys? So it's no disrespect to them. It's just kind of it's just not as cool to me. You know what I mean? As opposed to singing around Cold Steel or something. So I would make that trip. So now would I go? Yeah, if it was 3 hours, Friday, Saturday night, I would go. That's about my time frame I would do to see Destroyer 666. So there's probably somebody I'm forgetting, but oh, you know what? The other band, yeah. Who might I make of the 6-hour trip? If it was 6 hours, again, I don't know how long Indianapolis is the drive. Denial of God. I probably would make a 6-hour drive. Not on a Tuesday night or some shit like that, but a Friday or Saturday. Again, only if that was the closest show. If there was no Cleveland, no surrounding areas that are even closer, that would be another band. So pretty much, yeah, the bands I'd be willing to go drive the furthest and take on the biggest inconvenience, for lack of better words. Hemorrhage, Bird Flesh, Denial of God. I know there's somebody else that I'm forgetting. Because keep in mind, all three of those bands I've never seen before, and I'm a huge fan of all three of those bands. Can't think of who else would be on that list, but there would be somebody else. But not a whole lot. Tons of bands I like. And I'm like, well, dude, I've seen them, and I'm not making that fucking trip for that. I've seen them a million times, or I don't like them to that degree. I'm willing to make that. Oscar G. He's got all these laughy faces. I spit out my drink when he dissed the 40-year-old virgins. There's definitely some of those in the fucking metal scene, or at least the way they talk and act. They gotta be. Joe Dinkins, Ross Dolan was talking about new bands he likes, and that he's still into metal on the death metal podcast. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't shock me. I mean, granted, if Vegas was taking bets prior to you saying this, do you think Ross Dolan still listens to death metal, or he doesn't? If I had to put my own personal money on it and take a bet, I would just go. I would say no, not because there's anything against Ross. It's just because that'd be the safer bet 99 times out of 100 of guys of his caliber. But I could see. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Ross does. Now, however, how often is shit? Is he listening to it once a year? Does it when the buds are around, and then the rest of the time it's fucking ZZ Top, Van Halen, and goddamn and whatever what's random classic rock? I'd be willing to take that Vegas bet too. That's probably what he's listening to primarily, majority of the time. So is he listening to a lot of death metal now? He might. I'm not saying he's not, and I would not be the least bit surprised if he still does listen to death metal. But again, is it once a year? I mean, because that's kind of like me saying like if somebody was to say like let's just say somebody was to kind of review me and they heard one or two videos or something like that, and they're like, no, J Dog, one of his favorite bands are Iron Maiden. Well, but they're not. Well, he listens to Iron Maiden. Well, that is true. I do listen to Iron Maiden, but let's call it like it is. How often do I? And I own their albums. I own the good ones, the ones that you guys pretty much know I like. To be honest, this is pretty much what most of the albums that most people like. So it's about a half a dozen or so. I listened to actually this year alone. I listened to Iron Maiden twice. So I listened to Brave New World this year, driving out to Athnar's house, and I listened to Killers in the shop. Got to say, I thoroughly enjoyed both of them, very much so, even up to this day. But I don't think let's say last year, I don't think I listened to Maiden at all. It's never got on the playlist. Year before that, probably didn't either. So with that being said, let's just say Maiden averages. I listen to Iron Maiden once a year. Does that make me the biggest Iron Maiden fan? Right? That's one of his favorite bands. He's really into Iron Maiden. No, it means I like them, but it's like they're not really. Am I really jamming them all the time? No. No, I'm mostly listening to fucking more, death metal, black metal, stuff like that, but of all different bands. So Ross saying that is it okay? So you listen to a death metal record in 2022. You listen to another a death metal record in 2021. Was that one time, two times? Again, I'm not saying that's the case, but there's a variability thing when I'm thinking of it. Because when I think of like diehard people that like are in this, like I'm sure most of you guys watching it, it's probably majority of the time we go again. Not saying that's all you have to listen to. Because some idiots fucking say, "What do you mean you don't like any other music?" When did I ever say that? I never fucking said that shit. All I'm saying is there's guys that come into this or you meet out and about and they're thrown in there. It's like, dude, I know for a fact you're never listening to this shit on your own time. Like I'm talking about the complete canoe of canoes. The mushroom head guys just like that, and they claim they like Cannibal Corpse and shit. It's like, dude, you know of them, you've heard them, you haven't listened to them in 5 to 10 years, dude. You're just aware of them. Those type of guys. So it's like that doesn't fucking count. So not saying that Ross is in that fucking category where he doesn't listen to it at all, but it's I have a feeling that it's minuscule. Again, I could be completely wrong, and I'm not shocked if he does, him per se, but keep that in mind too. That's what I just because over the years, that's what I've noticed with older guys. I mean, that's just I should stop saying older guys. I almost better way to wording it is kind of like more so. I don't want to call them metal authorities, but just the well-known metal figureheads in the scene. If you add them all up, because I would consider Ross Dolan one of those. And the guys in the bigger bands, the Morbid Angels, the Deicides, the Obituaries, the Suffocation, even Frank Mullen, Suffocation, stuff like that, Terrence and all them, all the guys in the bigger bands, right? I would consider them kind of, in a sense, figureheads of the death metal scene. If you add all of them up, all of them figures. Let's say there's 100 of them, 100 total figureheads. How many of them are listening to fucking metal still, like death metal, on a regular basis? I'm telling you, I guarantee you, it's the minority. It's without a doubt the fucking minority. Because what I've always seen, like when I was out about, again, seeing Vader outside their tour bus and shit, they'll just listen to Led Zeppelin and crap. Again, not to throw them under the bus, but that's what it was. And I'm just like, the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck are they listening to Led Zeppelin for? You just find out slowly but surely that's what it is. They're just listening to fucking Priest and just kind of classic shit. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying I don't like any of that myself. That's not what I'm fucking saying. I'm just saying that how often something like Miasmatic Necrosis, how often are they listening to that? It's when they say that, okay, it's once a year. Or we toured with them. So yeah, he did hear them playing in the background, but it's like I don't consider that a fan, aka what Keith put the definition in, which I've always known that. It's just funny I never really brought that up. It's funny he brought it up because I kind of take it literal myself, is you're not a fanatical. The definition, you're not, you're a crazy fanatical, almost a weirdo about it. That's how I am with that's how I am. When I say I'm a fan of something, I'm a big, big fucking fan. I buy it, I support it, I like it, I listen to it, I follow it. This is what I'm into. That's what I consider a fan. So when they said they're one time a year bullshit, in my mind, the way I see it is like, well, that's not a fan, dude. That's just not a fucking fan. That's a weekend warrior. You know what I mean? So get one more goddamn question. So not saying Ross Dolan don't listen to death metal. I'm just saying that does he? Cardiac arrest. What do you think of the mutilated from France demos? Psycho Death Mutations. Definitely favorite demos to listen to. Funny you bring that up. Should I show my LP? Yeah, that should be not far away either. Goddamn, I'll show you another fucking banger. So this is what I have. It's funny because the LP I showed was not planned whatsoever. The Sodom LP I showed you yesterday, put out by the same source as this mutilated LP. This is a bootleg as well. Long, 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 long gone. It's called Psycho Death Lunatics, and it's the two demos and a unreleased 7-inch, I believe. Yep. So it's got Psycho Death Lunatic Demo 88, Resurrection Demo 92, unreleased 7-inch EP 1993. This is number 333 out of 500 copies. But here's what I own. This is what I spin. Um, got this. This came out probably this is the first time I heard them. That's why I bring this up. I was 20, 21, or 22. Something between 20 and 22. Why I remember that was various reasons, but I know for a fact it's someone that age group. Huge fan of this shit. And this is what I was always listening to. And it comes with a mini insert, too. Well, it just looks like it's a. What the fuck is even on here? Kind of like describing where the band came from and shit. And I believe mine is on red vinyl, if I'm not mistaken. I believe there's a first 100 were on red. Yep. Why the fuck is this in a shitty ass white dust cover still? That's my one that I didn't ever swapped out. Now, what else I do have, I'll show you in a second, but it's not nearly as cool. So for me, if you want to get mutilated, mutilated from France. It's early, I'll call it first generation death metal. Kind of the biggest influence you can hear is like early Morbid Angel, but I wouldn't say that it's a Morbid Angel. It's definitely not like some Morbid Angel ripoff or nothing like that. They're definitely unique in their own way too, but I would say that would be the biggest influence on them. Fantastic fucking death metal from back in the day. Huge fan of these demos. Remember I told you guys this because it's kind of one of those compilation releases. Like that's all the band did. However, they were called Mutilator before. This is an official release. Then this came in through Hell's when it came out, which is seems like a while ago, but it probably wasn't as long as I'm thinking. Maybe 5-6 years ago. Could even be less than that. Triumph of Death in France. But what I remember, this was pre-mutilated. The mutilator stuff. I remember this being not that fucking awesome. But what I mean by that is, I remember it sounding the sound quality not being very good because there was a maybe I did get it too. There was a digipack CD of this. I want to say it was might have been a double disc, but I want to say a single disc. It had all the mutilator stuff and then the mutilated stuff. So what? Because of the whole, this is yeah. From what I understand, from what I remember, they start off as mutilator, then they changed their name to mutilated. Because these demos were 87. But what I remember the mutilator stuff. It's not that it sucks, is I remember it sounding like shit the demos. But I had it for just kind of completing the collection. Maybe I'll put it back on the fucking player. But nonetheless, this is it. And then I think he did a LP similar like this too, which had the mutilated stuff. Because like I said, he definitely did a CD release that has all of it. It has the mutilator and the mutilated. But I don't think I picked up the LP of the wide. I know I didn't pick it up because I don't have it over there. I didn't pick up the mutilated LP intentionally because I'm like, this Psycho Death Lunatics fucking LP, this bootleg, this is better. It looks better, sounded amazing, and I was like, what? I kind of didn't need the official release. So, but yeah, mutilated from France. You guys don't know that one. That's some old school fucking death metal. And again, the fucking guys, what's here? The pain's here. Just clueless fucking canoes. And again, not that they should know something as obscure as fucking mutilated, but it's just like there's this whole nother world. That's the guy you're saying it to. And it's just like, not that I'm some fucking king or anything like that, but I'm literally a fan of shit as obscure as mutilated and all these fucking rare demos and stuff. And this guy doesn't never even heard of Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse, Obituary, Deicide. Like bands that's like, give me a fucking break, dude. If you don't even know what that is, or the creators, the sadists, the fucking Sodoms, etc. He's completely clueless, so asking what's heavier than fucking Pantera, and he thinks he's into the heavy shit. That's where I get slightly just annoyed because it's like, I'm so far even lower, beyond that as far as what's on a scale of hard to find, hard to hear of, obscurity, etc. They don't even know, like, it's kind of like, to me, it's almost like the equivalent of a grown man. He's like, I don't know my ABCs, just don't know ABCs. In the music world, it's equivalent to that. Like, if you claim you listen to metal, I automatically assume you minimally know who Possessed is. You minimally know who Cannibal Corpse, Deicide, Morbid Angel, Suffocation, Obituaries, the Creators, Sodoms, all of the. I automatically assume you're familiar with that shit. Whether you like them or not, or whatever, you only like a couple things, no things, whatever. You at least know what the fuck it is. If you don't, it's just like, again, that's like a grown man telling me, dude, I just don't know my ABCs. It's pretty much the equivalent. So that's why it's kind of like, can this canoe just leave me the fuck alone? That's where I'm getting at with this. It wasn't the bands themselves, which I've already said 10 million goddamn times on this channel. So anyways, but yeah, Mutilated. Check that the fuck out if you don't goddamn know it. Mutilated from France. There's fucking at least 10 goddamn different Mutilated. Type of Mutilated on fucking Metal Archive. See how many come up. I'm sure it's a fucking shitload. Anyways, that's it for this one, Devils. Comments, questions, concerns, you know what the fuck to do. Put in the comments box, get an answer right in the morning. Later, goddamn it.